Best dedicated development team companies in the USA. Every growth stage engineering leader eventually hits the same wall. The roadmap is accelerating, but each full-time hire commits you to fixed payroll, benefits, and severance exposure long before you know the demand will hold. Hire too slowly and you miss the window. Hire too fast and you're carrying a cost you can't easily unwind. A dedicated development team changes the shape of that decision. You add engineering capacity in step with your product and trim it when a phase wraps, without the legal and reputational weight of changing internal headcount. The team is still yours to direct, but the recruiting, employment, and operational load sit with the provider. For US companies scaling through a growth round or ring-fencing a focused initiative, that flexibility is the whole point. Here are 7 the best dedicated development team companies in the USA, again led by our featured pick. Each brings a different center of gravity. Some lean enterprise, some specialize in a niche, some optimize for nearshore time zone overlap. So the practical task is matching one to the stage your product is in right now. Inoxoft focuses on dedicated teams that scale with you while staying intact, giving startups and small to mid-sized businesses the continuity a long-term roadmap depends on. With more than 200 in-house engineers and over 200 delivered projects, the company stands up full-cycle squads that work exclusively on your product, and you approve each member before they start. 200-plus in-house engineers and 200-plus delivered projects ISO 27001 certified with Microsoft, Google Cloud, and ISTQB partnerships. A 7-stage process to assemble and vet each team, bundled HR, IT infrastructure, legal/NDA, and account management NIX, engineers. Self-sufficient dedicated teams that run as though they were your own staff, with a supplied Scrum Master, while you retain product and architecture ownership. That arrangement suits larger organizations that want a team they can hand a roadmap to without surrendering control of how it gets built. Self-managed squads under your direction, a zero-disruption continuity model, a Latin American hub aligned to US time zones, Pwrteams. Pwrteams partners with clients on a retention-first model, reporting an employee retention rate near 95.7% and folding its engineers directly into your tools and meetings. Because it recruits and employs the specialists itself, the day-to-day direction stays with you, while the staffing and HR risk sits with the provider. Approximately 95.7% retention to preserve product knowledge. Full recruitment and employment handling 150-plus cross-border engineering organizations assembled Closeloop Technologies. Closeloop Technologies supports product teams with a senior leadership bench drawn from technologists at firms like Oracle, Apple, and Google, with engineers that slot in as an extension of your organization rather than a detached outside vendor. Senior ex-FA/ANC caliber leadership AI woven into the engineering workflow coverage across strategy, cloud, data, and AI. Apriorit concentrates on deep, specialized engineering, such as low-level and kernel-driver development, cybersecurity, AI, and blockchain, organized into more than 20 dedicated R&D and QA teams. It's a fit when your product's hardest problems sit below the application layer, where generalist capacity tends to stall. Niche, edge case engineering specialists, 20-plus dedicated R&D and QA teams. a reported client return rate near 98%. Saritasa designs dedicated teams with a notable concentration in AR/VR, alongside custom software, mobile and IoT, often sustaining engagements across multiple product cycles. AR/VR, mobile and IoT specialization, long tenure, multi-year relationships. Agile delivery with steady communication. Softjourn crafts dedicated product teams around fintech, with a long-standing specialization in cards, payments and ticketing, and experience with processors, banks and card issuers. Deep payments and ticketing domain fluency consulting paired with end-to-end development. Both European and nearshore time zone coverage. Inoxoft's approach to scaling dedicated teams. What makes Inoxoft a fit for growth stage teams is that flexibility never comes at the expense of continuity. You can grow the team as the roadmap expands and trim it when a phase closes, matching engineering spend to where your product actually is, and the engineers who already hold your context stay on the core team rather than being reshuffled. When an engagement evolves, Inoxoft documents decisions and transfers expertise back to your in-house staff, so the knowledge stays with your product instead of leaving with a contract. Underneath that sit a built-in ISO 27001 security baseline and an operational layer that handles HR, infrastructure, and legal, leaving you free to direct the work instead of managing the people behind it. Capacity that flexes up or down with your roadmap. You add roles as the product expands and trim them when a phase wraps, matching engineering spend to where the build actually is. Continuity preserved as the team changes size. The engineers who already hold your context stay on the core team when you scale, so you add around them instead of reshuffling the whole squad and losing momentum. Documented knowledge transfer to your in-house staff. As an engagement evolves, Inoxoft records decisions and hands expertise back to your team, so the understanding of your product stays with you rather than leaving with a contract. Tiered PM packages that match your oversight needs. You choose how much delivery management you want, from light coordination to full backlog, roadmap, and release ownership, and adjust it as the engagement changes. Conclusion: scaling an engineering org is really an exercise in managing risk. You want capacity when the roadmap demands it, and no liability when it doesn't. Permanent hiring gives you the first and saddles you with the second. The dedicated model lets you separate the two, which are capacity that tracks your actual workload on terms you've written down in advance. Whether you're closing a capability gap, absorbing a release spike, or standing up a focused initiative, the providers here are built for that kind of flexible, continuous engagement. The thing to confirm before you sign is that the flexibility is written down. Notice periods, replacement clauses, ramp down terms, and IP assignment, so the model protects you when priorities change rather than only when they hold.